First of all, thank you for joining the CMPC Understanding Our Trees Challenge webinar. I'm Carlos Espejo, project manager of this challenge. Please keep in mind that this webinar is being recorded and will be posted on the challenge website for future reference. Also, this ensures other potential applicants that couldn't join us today because they are based in other areas where the hour is pretty bad for them, will have access to the information we share. First of all, I'm very pleased to acknowledge that I'm joining you today from the traditional, ancestral, and ancestral territories of the First Nation, Inuit, and Métis people. In my case, since I'm joining you from Vancouver, the Musqueam, Squamish, and Tsleil-Waututh nations. Now, allow me to introduce you the people that are going to be involved in this challenge and are participating in today's webinar. From CMPC, they are Veronica Emhart, Genetics and Biotech Assistant Manager, Sebastian Corton, Open Innovation Leader, Luis Soto, Wood Quality Leader, Sandra Vega, Forest Innovation Leader. From the delivery partner, from Foresight, I will be joining you today as project manager of this challenge. Today, we have up to 1 hour to cover the topics included in this agenda. As you can see, this includes up to 40 minutes for questions at the end of this session. We will talk about the challenge sponsors, CMPC, and Foresight, the delivery partner. We will talk about the challenge, its background, its importance for CMPC, its key dates, the eligibility criteria, and how the application process is going to work. Finally, we will have the previously mentioned minutes for questions. And now, Sebastian Corton, project manager of this challenge from CMPC, will tell you a little bit more about their company. Sebastian, please.
Thanks, Carlos. Hello, everyone. So CMPC is one of the biggest pulp and paper companies in the world. As you can see here, we have 54 industrial plants across 9 countries, mainly in South America, some of them also in Mexico and in the United States. And we also have a commercial office in the United States, one in Germany, one in China, and an innovation office in Finland. So we have presence in 12 different countries around the world, and we reach over 23,000 clients. Our company was established more than 100 years ago, and we started producing papers and cardboard. So today we commercialize our products through our 3 main business: the pulp business, where we have the forest unit, we have the wood unit, and also the pulp unit. Biopackaging, where we produce and sell different kind of packaging from our fiber, for instance, paper sacks, carton board, folding box board, and other kind of products. And also we have our Softies business unit, where we produce different products from tissue paper. The next slide, please, Carlos. So the relationship between human beings and the planet is becoming more responsible, meaningful, and conscious. And our actions, the forest, natural fiber, and our products are essential for contributing toward a sustainable society. So our corporate purpose, that we create the natural fiber for a better future, is integral to our company and our way of doing business, and it guides our actions and operations towards a sustainable future on a day-to-day basis. So our efforts to reach ambitious sustainable goals has ranked us in 2023 as the most sustainable company in the world in the Dow Jones Sustainability Index in the paper and forest product sector.
Perfect.
Back to you, Carlos.
Thank you, Sebastian. Now that we know more about the challenge sponsor, allow me to introduce you to Foresight. Foresight is Canada's cleantech accelerator, and we are the delivery partner of this challenge. Our purpose is to do more with less sustainably. Our mission is to connect industry with the world's best clean technologies, and that's what we are doing in this challenge, connecting an industry leader like CMPC with innovative technology solutions like the ones that your companies have. We cover multiple areas at Foresight, but we can roughly divide them in our Ventures Acceleration programs, where we support innovators to grow their technologies and businesses, our acceleration of clean technology adoption with initiatives such as our innovation challenges, We also promote access to capital in cleantech. And finally, knowledge sharing, such as the new initiative that we are developing, the cleantech adoption platform, that will connect innovators with industry and municipalities. In our process to promote technology adoption, we normally use this format of connecting firstly with industry and answering their challenges with this innovation research processes. The reverse pitch format ensures that innovation is market-driven and ready for adoption. I hope you will join us and our Helix 5 partners, which are innovators, industry, investors, government, and academia, as we support the growth and commercial impact of clean technologies in Canada and around the world. So, having introduced the sponsor and the delivery partner, please allow me to introduce you to the challenge. In this challenge, we seek innovative solutions to measure the moisture content and basic densities for trees, logs, chips, and biomass. Presented by CMPC in partnership with Foresight, this challenge offered the winning solution, or solutions, because we can have multiple winners, the potential to co-create a pilot proposal with the CMPC team. So now Veronica Emhart, Genetics and Biotech Assistant Manager at CMPC, will explain us a little bit more about the challenge background and its importance. Veronica, please.
Hello, everybody. And thank you for the opportunity to have this conversation with this group. And we are going to talk a little bit about our own challenge. CMPC is decided to be a global partner and a big industry standard in sustainability by leading the main ESG indicators, embracing some of the UN's Sustainable Development Goals. They committed to reach the following objectives. The first one is fire prevention and combat and restoration, water resource management and related risk, also the efficient and effective operation in the control of pollution, emissions, and effluents, and also sustainable forest management and certified heritage. And I think this challenge is going to be related with this background. Conservation, protection, and restoration of ecosystem and bioeconomy model and waste reduction. The next one. There are two variables in the wood that are key for our production. The first one is the moisture content, and the second is the basic density. And we need to understand this variable through the whole supply chain, from the standing trees in the forest to the timber pieces in the mill, including the logs in the mill, in the piles, both in the forest and also in the yards in the mill. A proper moisture content and the density values allow our whole process to be more efficient. This means to optimize the transportation of logs and sending the appropriate wood to each process, and thus is reducing our total emissions. For example, a balance between the wood you are going to send to the mill and the water you are carrying on the trucks. Also, there is a need to identify the moisture of the biomass that is used in the boilers in order to be more energy efficient. So in the same cycle, we use the biomass that is in the forest, we use in the industry to in the boilers to dry our products. The next. So what we are gonna improve is the moisture and the basic density measurement in trees, in the logs, in the chips, and the biomass, and the saw timber pieces in the mill. What is our other objective is further refine CMPC harvesting and transport operation related with this balance between the wood and the water we are carrying. Also identify a feasible and easy way to apply this technology. Also have a successful field pilot with an error of less than the 5% in comparison with the traditional measurement techniques. That is today techniques we are using. We are gonna detail a little bit more. And also be cost competitive and scalable across CMPC production. The next. So what we are doing currently today, with respect to the basic density today, is measured in the standing trees with a technique that is called the resistograph. This instrument correlates the resistance of the wood to the penetration of a blade to the basic density. So we have two variables that are very good related, and this is the technology we're using today in the standing trees in the forest. It has a good precision, 5% of error, and is fast to use. In one day, you can measure 100 or 200 trees with one machine. Unfortunately, it can be only used in standing trees. Also, it requires a calibration that is not very cheap. You need to calibrate for pines and calibrate for eucalyptus, as well as you need also to do maintenance to the machine. Regarding to the moisture, today it is measured in the lab using some samples or by a weekly measurement of the weight of the logs in the field. This means that we don't have a real-time information to optimize the process. So what we want to do, to be able to calculate the basic density of the wood in the whole process, not just in the standing trees, but also in the logs, in the chips, in the biomass, in the mill, in the wood pieces, and also be able to calculate moisture content in the field in order to increase our productivity and keep a good precision of the measurements, ideally around the 5% of less or less, and further refine our CMPC harvesting and transport operation to get more efficient in our operation.
Perfect.
I think this is the main idea.
Perfect. Thank you for explaining the challenge, Veronica. Now that we know about the background, main objective of the challenge, and how their current process works, let's talk about the key dates of this challenge. As you can see, the challenge launched on May 13th. Today is June 11th, day of the information webinar, and applicants still have almost 1 month, it's like 4 weeks, to submit their applications. The submission window closes on July 5th at 7 p.m. in Chile. After screening to ensure completeness of the solutions and that they align with the challenge objective, we will have an evaluation period by CMPC. Once the evaluation period is completed, Foresight will reach out to the shortlisted applicants by July 12th. And they will schedule a pitch presentations with CMPC. We expect to have them by the 18th or the 19th of July. Once these pitch sessions are completed, the winner or winners of the challenge will be announced by mid-August, and they will co-create this pilot opportunity with CMPC. Moving on to the eligibility criteria, this challenge is open to all categories of applicants and project collaborators. This includes technology developers, institutions, SMEs, multinational enterprises, and research laboratories. Obviously, the proposed solution must align with the challenge topic, and it must be between TRLs 7 and 9, both included. And the solution must have significant accuracy when measuring the moisture and basic density, as Veronica previously mentioned. The application process is fairly straightforward. First of all, candidates will need to register on the competition website. This is necessary to access the application form. Once they have access to the application form, they will need to complete all the different questions that we have included in this form, and they will receive a confirmation email once they have submitted their responses. Please note or allow me to paste the link on the chat so you have access to the website and the registry link. Thank you. Moving to the review process and evaluation, allow me to explain that once we receive the applications, we will have this initial screening to ensure they fulfill the eligibility criteria before sending them for CMPC for review. Then the most promising solutions will be required to present the technologies in the pitch sessions. And yeah, as previously mentioned, they will be able to co-create a pilot proposal with CMPC. Finally, allow me to give you some tips for your application. First of all, make sure you fulfill all the eligibility requirements that we previously mentioned. don't wait until the deadline to submit your application. This one is honestly important because there is always the risk of an unexpected technical problem that might affect the hour that you submit your application, and the platform will automatically close at 7 p.m. in Chile. So please do not wait until the last minute to submit. We recommend to provide data evidence where required to support qualitative description. Please use clear language in technical description of your technology or project. And finally, and this is fairly important, explain successful results of your technology, highlighting any implementation or pilots results that you currently have. So if you have this technology already working with other clients, please let us know, because that will definitely help your application. And in case you are not TRL 9 and you don't have these clients, please explain the work that you have done to progress your technology today and the results of your pilot, just to ensure that your technology has potential and properly evaluated. Also, keep in mind that for all challenges-related questions, you can contact us at challenges@foresightcc.com, which is the email address for this challenge. So, having explained all of this, we can begin with the Q&A of the session. Please use the chat to submit your questions, and meanwhile, I will start with the questions that we have received in the challenge email address. So, beginning with these questions that we have already received, what is the price of the CMPC Understanding Our Trees challenge? This challenge does not have an economic price directly associated to it. The challenge winner or winners will co-create a pilot proposal with CMPC to potentially implement their technologies in CMPC yards or mills, depending on when your technology applies. If it applies to both. What eligibility requirements I must fulfill to participate in the challenge? As previously mentioned during these slides, this challenge is open to all categories of applicants and project collaborators. The eligibility requirements highlighted during the sessions were that the proposed solution must be unique and aligned with the challenge topic, and that the proposed solution must be between TRL levels 7 to 9, both included. Is the entry to the challenge confidential? Yes, entries to the challenge are confidential. They will only be shared in confidence with the CMPC team because they need to review it. That's it. How is my application going to be reviewed? As previously mentioned, during an initial screening to measure if they fulfill the eligibility criteria, we will share this application with the CMPC team. The CMPC team will use their own criteria depending on their needs to evaluate the applications received. Do I have to be based in Canada or Chile to participate? No, this challenge is open to all participants from all over the world. So if your company is based in any other country, you can totally apply. It's perfectly fine. Can the same company submit more than one application? Yes, as long as the proposed solution is unique, a same company can submit different applications, assuming they are different. And well, this question is fairly specific, but depending on the traditional measurements techniques selected, the percentage level of error of my technology solution varies. Does it need to be under 5% for all cases? Well, this 5% is not comparing with the incumbent technology solutions. Is an error of less than 5% compared to the actual density of the wood or the bio of the timber. So CMPC will review your application and evaluate its potential. Therefore, if your solution outperforms incumbent technologies when measuring moisture or basic density in trees, logs, chips, and biomass in general, we strongly recommend you to apply to the challenge, because if the CMPC team evaluates that your solution could be a good fit for their interest, the exact error will be analyzed during the pilot. So please apply to the challenge. Having mentioned all of this, we have answered all the questions that we previously received in the challenge email address, and I can start checking the chat to see if you have any additional questions. Okay, so if everything is clear and we have no questions, then we can finalize the session. Let's give a couple more minutes just in case if any last minute question arrives, but that should be everything for today. Thank you so much to all the participants. And yeah, if you have any last minute questions, please send them on the chat in the next couple of minutes. Thank you. The question from Michelle is there an approximate price range you have in mind in terms of a unit or operating cost for these devices? Perhaps the approximate cost of the current solution would be a helpful starting point. So I will need the help of the CMPC team, but knowing how this normally works, they probably cannot share the price of their current solution because that's confidential in their contracts. So, but the first part of the question, CMPC team, do you have any price range in terms of units or operating cost, or that's not defined yet?
Carlos, I think that is not defined because depend on the volume of the samples that we are measuring. So every, for example, for standing trees, there is a range of cost, but in terms of chips or logs or so timber pieces, depends more on the equipment.
Okay.
I think this is the higher cost, depending on the equipment.
I think we have lost Veronica. So yeah, anything? Do you have anything to add to her response? Basically, we don't have a price point based on her comments at the moment because it depends a lot on the specific item or wood that you are measuring, depending on the size of the wood and or if it's only biomass or if it's a standing tree. The cost depend a lot, Michelle, on what you are measuring. So there is not a defined price range at the moment, right, Sebastian?
Yes, that's right. And it will also depend on how efficient this device is. It can allow us to take the information faster. We could expect maybe an expensive cost, but if it's not that efficient, we should expect a lower cost. So it will depend on how efficient it is.
Okay, perfect. Any additional question? Does that answer your question, Michelle? I don't know if it's approximate. CMPC team, do we have any numbers in mind, even if it's a range or not at the moment?
No, sorry, we don't have that information yet.
Okay, perfect. So, sorry, Michelle, we don't have a price range defined. Okay, any other questions? Great. So, having said that, if you have any further questions, please send us these questions at challenges@foresightcac.com. And you can scan the QR code that you have in your screen to go to the challenge website and see more information about the challenge. Thank you all. And just so you remember, we will post the recording of this webinar in our website.